The observation deck of Station Harmony stretched before Commander Marcus Chen like a cathedral made of glass and steel. Beyond the transparent walls, the planet Kepler 442b hung in space like a blue-green jewel, its 3 moons casting silver light across unfamiliar continents. Marcus stood with his hands clasped behind his back, watching the planet rotate slowly while his mind processed the past 3 months of negotiations. It had been exhausting work. Every conversation with the Valerie required careful translation, not just of words, but of concepts that had no direct equivalence between their species. Yet somehow, they had done it. The trade agreement sat in his datapad, ready for final signatures. Humanity would gain access to Valari gravitational technology. The Valari would receive Earth's advanced medical research. Both civilizations would benefit enormously. Marcus allowed himself a small smile. His superiors back on Earth would be pleased. Perhaps he might even take that vacation he had been postponing for 5 years. "Commander Chen?" A musical voice spoke behind him. Marcus turned to find Ambassador Lysara standing at the entrance to the observation deck. The Valari woman stood nearly 7 feet tall, her slender frame covered in skin that shimmered with faint bioluminescence. Today, her skin showed patterns of deep blue and soft violet, colors Marcus had learned indicated thoughtfulness mixed with uncertainty. Her large eyes, which resembled pools of liquid gold, met his with an intensity that made him straighten his posture instinctively. "Ambassador," Marcus replied with a polite nod. "I was just reviewing the final documents. Everything appears to be in order. Tomorrow's signing ceremony should proceed smoothly." Lysara moved closer, her movements graceful in the lighter gravity of the station. Her hands twisted together, a gesture Marcus had never seen her make before. In their 3 months of negotiations, she had always been composed, almost regal in her bearing. "I must speak with you privately," she said, her voice quieter than usual. "It concerns a matter that cannot be discussed in official channels." Marcus felt a knot form in his stomach. After 3 months of careful diplomacy, had something gone wrong at the last moment? "Of course. We're alone here. Please, speak freely." Lysara walked to the viewing window and gazed out at her home planet. When she spoke, her words came slowly, as if each one required careful consideration. "There is something about Valari culture that was not included in the briefing materials your people received," she began. "It was not an oversight. My government believed it would complicate negotiations if revealed too early." Marcus moved to stand beside her, maintaining a respectful distance. "I'm listening. For my people, treaties between species are not merely legal documents," Lysara explained. Her skin rippled with colors Marcus couldn't interpret. Orange mixed with green, shifting to pink and back to blue. "They are living bonds that must be maintained by living representatives. When 2 peoples agree to share resources and knowledge, we believe there must be a bridge between them. A person who belongs fully to both worlds." "A cultural ambassador?" Marcus suggested. "We have similar concepts on Earth." "It's actually a role I'd be happy to help establish." "More than that," Lysara said softly. She turned to face him directly, and Marcus saw something in her expression that caught him off guard. Vulnerability. The bridge must be permanent, unbreakable, bound by the strongest social structures each species possesses. Marcus felt the knot in his stomach tighten. "Ambassador, what exactly are you saying?" Lysara took a deep breath, a gesture she had learned from humans. "I have volunteered to become that bridge. I have studied your species extensively over these months, Commander Chen. I have learned your languages, your customs, your history. I wish to leave my world and make Earth my home, to live among humans and represent Valari interests while adopting human ways." That's quite a commitment," Marcus said carefully. but I still don't understand why you needed to speak with me privately about this. The colors on Lysara's skin settled into a steady, pale blue. She looked directly into his eyes. Because to truly belong to your world, I must bind myself through your strongest social institution. Commander Marcus Chen, I am asking you to marry me. The words seemed to echo in the vast space of the observation deck. Marcus stared at her, certain he had misheard. What? Marriage, Lysara repeated. I have researched this extensively. It is humanity's most recognized form of permanent social bonding. If I am legally married to a human citizen, I can apply for citizenship myself. I will truly belong to Earth, not as a visitor, but as a member of your society. This is what the Alliance requires. Marcus took a step backward, his mind racing. Ambassador, marriage is... We barely know each other as colleagues, let alone as... I understand, Lysara interrupted gently. I have studied human marriage traditions. I know that your species typically forms these bonds through romantic love, through years of courtship and emotional connection. I cannot offer you love, Commander Chen. Not yet. Perhaps not ever. Though I do not know what the future holds. She moved closer, her tall form seeming suddenly less intimidating and more uncertain. What I can offer is partnership, respect, dedication to a shared purpose. Among my people, bonding partnerships are formed from mutual goals and compatible values. Emotional intimacy grows over time, sometimes over decades. I propose we approach this arrangement in a similar way. Marcus felt like the station's artificial gravity had failed. His thoughts tumbled over each other. Marriage, to an alien, for political purposes. It sounded like something from a historical drama about ancient royal families, not a decision a modern diplomat should face. Why me? He finally managed to ask. Why not someone else from the delegation? Lysara's skin showed a warm amber color. Because in 3 months of negotiations, you never once raised your voice in anger. When disagreements arose, you sought understanding before solutions. You listened more than you spoke. You treated my people with genuine curiosity rather than hidden judgment. These qualities are rare, Commander Chen. They are qualities I would wish in a partner, even one bound by necessity rather than choice. Marcus walked to a nearby bench and sat down heavily. His hands trembled slightly, so he clasped them together. How long do I have to decide? The signing ceremony is scheduled for tomorrow at noon station time, Lysara replied. If we have not reached an agreement by then, my government will consider the alliance incomplete. They will not sign. 24 hours, Marcus whispered. Yes. Lysara approached him and did something unexpected. She knelt beside the bench, bringing her eyes level with his. Among her people, this was a position of supplication, of requesting mercy. I know this is unfair to you. I know I am asking you to change your entire life for people you have never met, for a woman you barely know. But I am asking nonetheless. Will you help me belong to your world? Marcus Chen, will you marry me? Marcus looked into those golden eyes and saw genuine hope there, mixed with fear. He thought of the trade agreement sitting in his datapad. He thought of the thousands of Valari citizens on the planet below who needed Earth's medical technology. He thought of humanity's future among the stars. He thought of his own empty apartment on Earth, his solitary life dedicated to work, his parents who worried he would always be alone. I need time to think, he said finally. Lysara stood gracefully and placed her hand over her heart, a Valari gesture of acknowledgement. Of course. I will await your answer, whatever it may be. She walked toward the exit, her bioluminescent skin fading to a dim, resigned gray. As she reached the doorway, she paused and looked back. For what it is worth, Commander Chen, she said quietly, if our situations were reversed and you were asking this of me, I believe I would find the courage to say yes. I have seen enough of humanity to know you are worth such a leap of faith." Then she was gone, leaving Marcus alone with the weight of an impossible decision and less than 1 day to make it. Marcus Chen did not sleep that night. He sat in his small quarters aboard Station Harmony, staring at the ceiling while his mind replayed Lysara's proposal over and over. Marriage to an alien diplomat to save an interstellar alliance. It sounded absurd, yet here he was, actually considering it. At 3 in the morning station time, Marcus gave up on sleep entirely. He pulled on his uniform and headed to the station's research library. If he was going to make this decision, he needed information. Real information, not just diplomatic briefings. The library's artificial intelligence greeted him with soft blue lights. "Good morning, Commander Chen. How may I assist you?" "Pull up everything we have on Valari bonding customs," Marcus said, settling into a chair. "Cultural practices, social structures, family dynamics. I need to understand how their society views partnerships." Data began flowing across the holographic display. Marcus read with growing fascination. Valari bonding was fundamentally different from human marriage. Their species formed life partnerships based on shared purpose and compatible goals, rather than romantic attraction. A Valari couple might work together for decades before developing what humans would recognize as emotional intimacy. Their bonds were cerebral first, emotional second. "Computer, show me information on Valari emotional development," Marcus requested. More data appeared. Valari experienced emotions differently than humans. They felt things more gradually, like water slowly filling a container, rather than sudden waves. What took humans months to feel might take Valari years, but once formed, their emotional bonds were incredibly strong and stable. Marcus leaned back in his chair, processing this information. Lysara wasn't asking for human-style romance because her species didn't work that way. She was offering partnership in the truest Valari sense, a commitment to shared work, mutual respect, and patience, while deeper feelings developed naturally over time. "Computer, show me Lysara's personal file," he said quietly. The holographic screen shifted, displaying the ambassador's background. Marcus read details he had never bothered to learn during negotiations. Lysara was 43 years old by human counting, considered young for a diplomat among her people. She had spent 15 years studying alien cultures, specializing in humanity. She had volunteered for this mission specifically, competing against dozens of other candidates. There was another detail buried in the file that made Marcus sit up straighter. The Valari sun was dying. Not immediately, but their star was cooling faster than their scientists had predicted. Within 500 years, a short time for a spacefaring species, their home planet would become uninhabitable. The alliance with Earth wasn't just about trade. It was about survival. Access to human colonization technology could help the Valari find new worlds before theirs froze. Marcus felt the weight of that knowledge settle over him. Lysara wasn't just sacrificing her life among her own people for political convenience. She was becoming a bridge that might save her entire species. "Computer, end session," Marcus said softly. He left the library as station dawn began lighting the corridors. He needed to talk to Lysara again, not as a diplomat considering a political arrangement, but as one person trying to understand another. In her own quarters, Lysara sat in meditation, her skin cycling through colors that reflected her turbulent thoughts. She had been awake all night as well, preparing herself for what she assumed would be rejection. Humans valued romantic love in marriage. She could not offer that. Not now. Maybe not ever. She thought about her home planet, about her family still living there. Her younger brother, who worked in energy research, desperately seeking ways to extend their son's life. Her mother, a teacher who had encouraged Lysara's fascination with alien species. They were counting on her, Millions were counting on her. A chime at her door interrupted her meditation. Her skin flashed with surprise, orange mixed with white. "Enter," she called. Marcus stepped inside, looking tired but determined. "Ambassador, we need to talk. Really talk. Not diplomat to diplomat, but person to person." Lysara stood, her height making her tower over him even in the spacious quarters. "I am listening, Commander. First, my name is Marcus. Not Commander, not Chen, just Marcus. If we're going to discuss marriage, we should probably use first names." A warm amber color spread across Lysara's skin. "Very well. And you may call me Lys. It is what my family uses." They sat together on cushions designed for Valari physiology. Marcus had to adjust his position several times to get comfortable, which made Lys's skin ripple with colors he now recognized as gentle amusement. "I spent the night researching your people," Marcus began. "I learned that Valari bonding is different from human marriage, that your species builds partnerships on shared purpose and mutual respect, with emotional connection developing slowly over years." Lys tilted her head, a gesture of acknowledgement. "Yes, this is accurate. It is why I believed this arrangement might work, despite our species' differences." "I also learned about your son," Marcus said quietly. Lys's skin colors shifted to deep blue and gray. "Ah. That information was meant to remain confidential. It's in the files. Buried, but there. Your people need this alliance for more than trade, don't they?" Lys was silent for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice carried more emotion than Marcus had ever heard from her. "My world is dying, Marcus. Not today, not tomorrow, but soon enough that my brother's children might see the beginning of the end. We need human help to find new homes before ours becomes a frozen tomb. This alliance is everything to us, and it requires me to become the bridge." "Why did you volunteer?" Marcus asked. "Surely others could have done this." "Because I believe in humanity," Lys said simply. "I have studied your species for 15 years. You are chaotic, unpredictable, sometimes violent, but you are also creative, adaptable, and capable of remarkable compassion. You have overcome countless disasters through sheer determination. You rebuild after every fall. These qualities give me hope that together, our peoples can face the challenges ahead." Marcus looked at her, really looked at her, and saw not an alien diplomat, but a person carrying an enormous burden. Someone who had volunteered to leave everything familiar and spend her life among strangers, all to save her people. "I'm afraid," Marcus admitted. "I've spent my career avoiding personal commitments. I lost my sister in a colony raid when I was young. She was going to get married that year. After she died, I threw myself into diplomacy, thinking I could prevent such tragedies, but I never let anyone close. I'm not good at relationships." Lys's skin showed pale blue sympathy. "I am afraid as well. I know human customs only from study. I will make mistakes. I do not know if I can ever feel love the way humans describe it. I may disappoint you." "But you're willing to try anyway," Marcus said. "I am willing to try because the alternative is failure. Failure means my people lose hope. It means the bridge between our species never forms. It means I return home having accomplished nothing." Lys looked directly at him. "But more than duty, Marcus, I am willing, because I genuinely respect you. In 3 months, I have watched you navigate impossible situations with grace. You listen. You care. These are qualities I would choose in a partner even if necessity did not demand it." Marcus took a deep breath. "I have a proposal, a modification to your proposal." Lys's skin brightened with interest. "I am listening. We agree to marry legally and officially. We commit to building a genuine partnership at whatever pace feels right for both of us. No false promises about feelings we don't have. No pretending this is a fairy tale romance. Just two people choosing to work together, respect each other, and see what develops naturally over time. And if romantic love never develops? Liz asked carefully. Then we'll have a partnership based on mutual respect and shared purpose. That's more than many human marriages have, Marcus said. But I think we should be honest with each other always, about our feelings, our fears, our needs. Can you agree to that? Liz extended her hand in the human gesture she had learned. I agree to these terms: honesty, partnership, and patience. We build something real together, whatever form it takes. Marcus took her hand. It felt warm, the bioluminescent skin tingling slightly against his palm. They shook on their agreement, sealing a decision that would change both their lives. So, Marcus said with a small smile, I suppose we should start planning a wedding. Liz's skin erupted in brilliant colors, gold and pink and bright blue swirling together. Marcus had never seen such a display. This is joy, she explained. Relief and hope and gratitude all mixed together. Thank you, Marcus, for taking this leap with me. Before Marcus could respond, the station's alarm system blared to life. Red emergency lights began flashing throughout the quarters. A voice crackled over the intercom. All personnel to emergency stations. Unidentified vessel has emerged from jump space. They are broadcasting a warning. Repeat. Unidentified hostile vessel detected. Marcus and Lice jumped to their feet, their personal conversation forgotten as training took over. They rushed toward the command center together, not knowing that their greatest test was about to begin. The decision to marry had been made, but before any ceremony could happen, they would have to survive what was coming. The command center of Station Harmony erupted in controlled chaos. Officers from both Earth and Velari delegations crowded around holographic displays showing a massive ship hovering at the edge of the system. Marcus and Liz pushed through the crowd to reach the central console where Captain Rodriguez stood, her face tight with concern. What are we looking at, Captain? Marcus asked. Rodriguez gestured at the main display. Unknown vessel, Commander. It appeared 10 minutes ago without any jump signature warning. They're broadcasting on all frequencies in multiple languages. The message isn't friendly. Play it, Marcus ordered. A harsh, metallic voice filled the command center. This is the Kazroth Collective. We have monitored your negotiations between the human species and the Velari species. Such mixing of bloodlines and cultures is an abomination. We hereby order the immediate cessation of all alliance activities. The proposed union between your peoples must not proceed. You have 6 hours to comply or face consequences. Silence fell over the command center. Marcus felt his blood run cold. Beside him, Liz's skin had turned completely white, a color he had learned meant shock or fear among her people. Who are the Kazroth? Rodriguez demanded, looking between the human and Velari officers. A young Velari technician spoke up, his voice shaking. They are a faction that believes species purity is sacred. They have attacked mixed colonies before, small raids mostly. We did not know they possessed ships this large. Marcus studied the tactical display. The Kazroth vessel was 3 times the size of Station Harmony and bristling with weapons. The station's own defenses were minimal. It was a diplomatic facility, not a military installation. Earth and Velari fleets were at least 8 hours away at maximum speed. Can we evacuate? Marcus asked. Rodriguez shook her head. Not everyone. We have 200 personnel aboard. Our evacuation pods can hold maybe 70 at a time. We'd need multiple trips, and that ship could destroy the pods before they reached minimum safe distance. Liz stepped forward, her skin gradually shifting from white to determined violet. Then we must negotiate. That is what we do. We talk. With terrorists? Rodriguez looked skeptical. With anyone who threatens lives, Liz replied firmly. She turned to Marcus. We have faced difficult conversations before. Perhaps we can buy time for our fleets to arrive." Marcus nodded slowly. The captain was a military officer, trained for combat, but he and Lys were diplomats. This was their battlefield. "Open a channel to the Kasroth vessel." The holographic display shifted to show a figure in dark armor. The Kasroth commander's face was hidden behind a helmet, making their species unidentifiable. When they spoke, the voice synthesizer stripped away any emotional tone. "You wish to beg for mercy?" the commander asked. "We wish to understand your position," Marcus replied calmly. "You speak of purity, but space is vast. Our alliance doesn't threaten you. Why does it concern you?" "Because it sets a precedent," the Kasroth commander answered. "Today, humans and Valari merge. Tomorrow, others follow. Soon, all species blend together until nothing unique remains. We preserve what you would destroy through your careless mixing." Lys moved beside Marcus, her posture straight and dignified. "I am Lys Ara, Valari ambassador. May I ask, does the Kasroth collective consist of only one species or many?" The question seemed to catch the commander off guard. There was a pause before the response came. "We are united by philosophy, not species, but we maintain our distinctions. We do not marry outside our kinds. We do not blend our cultures into meaningless soup." "Then you already are what you fear," Lys said gently. "Multiple species working together, united by shared beliefs. The only difference is your philosophy chooses fear, while ours chooses hope." "Enough philosophy," the commander snapped. "You have 6 hours. Abandon your alliance or face destruction." The channel cut off abruptly. Marcus turned to Rodriguez. "We need options, Captain. What can we do?" Rodriguez pulled up a technical schematic. "The station has scientific equipment that generates strong sensor signals for research purposes. If we modified the output and created multiple signal sources, we might make it look like reinforcements are arriving sooner than they actually are. It would buy us maybe an hour or two before they figured out the deception." "Do it," Marcus ordered. He looked around the command center. "Everyone else prepare evacuation procedures. Priority to non-essential personnel and those without emergency training." For the next 3 hours, Marcus and Lys coordinated the station's defense preparations alongside Rodriguez. Marcus discovered something remarkable during those frantic hours. He and Lys worked together seamlessly. When he thought intuitively and creatively, Lys provided analytical precision. When she focused too narrowly on details, he pulled back to see the bigger picture. They complemented each other perfectly. During a brief pause while the Kasroth vessel repositioned itself, Marcus and Lys found themselves alone in a supply room, double-checking emergency equipment. The adrenaline of the crisis had kept them moving, but now, in this quiet moment, exhaustion hit them both. Lys slid down to sit on the floor, her long legs folding beneath her. Her skin showed patterns of blue and gray that Marcus now recognized as deep worry. "I am frightened, Marcus." Marcus sat beside her, close enough that their shoulders almost touched. "So am I." "Not of dying," Lys continued softly. "Of failing. My people needed this alliance. I promised them I would succeed. If we die here, they lose everything. My brother, my mother, millions of others. They will face their dying world without hope." Marcus felt something shift inside him. For months, he had seen Lys as a diplomatic counterpart, someone to negotiate with professionally. But now he saw her fully as a person, someone carrying impossible weight. Someone who had volunteered to sacrifice her entire life for others. Someone who was brave enough to be honest about her fears. "My sister's name was Elena," Marcus said quietly. "She died in a colony raid 15 years ago. She was 24, about to marry her partner, full of plans for the future. I became a diplomat because I never wanted anyone else to lose someone they loved the way I lost her. But I built walls around myself. I stopped letting people get close because closeness meant the possibility of loss. Liz turned her golden eyes toward him. And now? Now I'm sitting in a supply room with someone I barely know, facing possible death, and I realize something. You asked me to marry you yesterday. I said yes, because it seemed like the right choice politically. But in these past few hours, working with you, seeing your courage and your honesty, I'm glad I said yes for more than political reasons. Liz's skin rippled with warm amber. You are saying we have become partners truly, not just legally? I'm saying I think we already were partners. We just needed pressure to realize it, Marcus replied with a tired smile. Before Liz could respond, Rodriguez's voice crackled over their communicators. Chen, Lysara, get to command center immediately. The Khazroth are moving. Our sensor deception isn't working. They're calling our bluff. Marcus and Liz scrambled to their feet and raced back to the command center. The main display showed the Khazroth vessel advancing, weapons powering up. They were out of time and out of options. Marcus stared at the display, his mind racing. Then an idea struck him, reckless, possibly stupid, but maybe their only chance. Captain, can we broadcast on open channels to all nearby systems? Not just direct communication, but a public transmission? Yes, but why would... Do it, now. Marcus turned to Liz. Do you trust me? Liz's skin showed determined violet again. I trust you. Marcus stepped up to the communications console as Rodriguez opened every broadcasting frequency the station possessed. His message would go out to dozens of systems, hundreds of ships, millions of viewers. This is Commander Marcus Chen of Earth, speaking from Station Harmony. 6 hours ago, Ambassador Lysara of Valari asked me to marry her to cement the alliance between our peoples. I said yes. In 1 hour, we will proceed with our wedding ceremony as scheduled. This is humanity's answer to fear and threats. We choose unity. We choose hope. We choose to build bridges instead of walls. To anyone listening who believes in that same future, we invite you to witness our ceremony. And to those who would stop us through violence, know this: you cannot kill an idea whose time has come. Marcus ended the transmission and looked at Liz. I hope that was okay. I probably should have asked you first. Liz's skin erupted in brilliant gold and pink colors. It was perfect. Throughout the command center, officers stared at their displays in shock. The broadcast was already spreading across multiple networks, being shared and forwarded at incredible speed. Within minutes, responses began flooding in from ships, stations, and planets across dozens of systems. And then something remarkable happened. The tactical display lit up with new contacts, civilian vessels emerging from jump space around Station Harmony, cargo ships, passenger transports, even a few small private yachts. They positioned themselves in a loose defensive formation between the station and the Khazroth vessel. One by one, they broadcast simple messages. We stand with the Alliance. Love over fear. We witness this union. The Khazroth commander's voice came over the channel, filled with fury. You think these unarmed civilians will stop us? But Marcus saw what the commander perhaps did not. The vessels represented 17 different species. An attack on them would make the Khazroth enemies of everyone. The commander had wanted to stop a precedent. Instead, Marcus had created a much bigger one. 6 hours became 1 hour. Commander, Marcus said calmly to the Khazroth ship. We're getting married now. You're welcome to attend. The Khazroth vessel held position, weapons still powered but not firing. The standoff continued, but Marcus and Liz had bought time and turned their crisis into a symbol that was spreading across the galaxy. So, Captain Rodriguez said with an exhausted laugh, I suppose we need to arrange a wedding ceremony. Any preferences? Marcus looked at Liz, and she looked back at him. Despite everything, they both smiled. Simple, they said together. Captain Rodriguez transformed the main observation deck into a makeshift ceremony space within 40 minutes. Officers hung fabric panels salvaged from supply rooms, creating a simple backdrop against the massive windows showing the stars beyond. The deck was crowded with every person aboard the station who could be spared from emergency duties: humans, Valari, and 3 other species represented in the diplomatic teams. Marcus stood near the improvised altar, wearing his dress uniform hastily retrieved from his quarters. His hands trembled slightly, though whether from fear of the Kazroth threat or nervousness about the ceremony itself, he could not say. Through the windows, he could see the civilian ships still holding their protective formation. The Kazroth vessel remained at distance, weapons powered but silent. The standoff continued, but at least no one was shooting yet. "Nervous?" Rodriguez asked quietly, standing beside him in her role as officiating captain. "Terrified," Marcus admitted, "and not just because of the armed ship outside." Rodriguez smiled. "That's how you know it matters." Music began playing, a blend of human and Valari instruments that someone had quickly programmed. The gathered crowd turned toward the entrance. Liz appeared, escorted by 2 Valari officers who served as her attendants. She wore traditional Valari ceremonial robes that flowed like liquid silver, and her skin glowed with colors Marcus had never seen before: deep gold mixed with rose pink, swirling with touches of brilliant white. She had explained once that Valari skin colors reflected their emotional state. These colors, Marcus guessed, meant something profound. As Liz walked toward him, their eyes met across the room. Despite the bizarre circumstances, despite the threat hanging over them, Marcus felt something shift in his chest. This was real. Whatever had started as political necessity had transformed into something genuine over the past 2 days. Liz reached the altar and stood before him. She was so much taller that Marcus had to look up to meet her gaze. Her golden eyes seemed to shimmer with emotion. Captain Rodriguez cleared her throat and began. "We are gathered here in extraordinary circumstances to witness the union of 2 individuals from 2 worlds. This ceremony represents not just their commitment to each other, but a bridge between humanity and the Valari people. By the authority granted to me as captain of this station and representative of Earth's diplomatic corps, I will now officiate this marriage." Rodriguez looked at Marcus. "Commander Chen, do you have words you wish to speak?" Marcus had not prepared a speech. He had barely had time to process that this was actually happening. But as he looked at Liz, words came naturally. "2 days ago, you asked me to marry you. Yesterday, I learned about your dying son and understood the weight you carry. Today, we face danger together. In this short time, I've learned that you are brave, honest, and dedicated to something larger than yourself. I don't know what our future holds. I don't know if we'll survive the next hour. But I do know that I choose to face whatever comes with you as my partner. I promise to respect you, to learn from you, to work with you, and to be honest with you always. I choose hope over fear. I choose to build rather than destroy. And I choose you, Lisara, as the person I want beside me while we build that future." Liz's skin flared with brilliant gold. She took a moment to compose herself before speaking. "Marcus, I came to this station 3 months ago with a mission to save my people. I studied humans for years before meeting you, trying to understand your species. But understanding from books is not the same as knowing a person truly. You have shown me that humans are not just the chaos and creativity I read about. You are also capable of profound courage in quiet moments. You listen when others speak. You seek to understand before judging. You face fear with dignity. These are the qualities my people value most. I promise to honor your world as my new home. I promise to learn your ways while teaching you mine. I promise to be your partner in purpose and in truth." Whatever time we have, whether hours or decades, I will spend it building something meaningful with you. Rodriguez produced 2 rings, simple bands hastily fabricated in the station's workshop. She offered one to Marcus, who took it with steady hands despite his racing heart. Marcus, place this ring on Lissara's hand as a symbol of your commitment, Rodriguez instructed. Marcus slid the ring onto Liss's long finger. Her skin tingled warmly against his touch. Rodriguez handed the second ring to Liss. Lissara, place this ring on Marcus's hand as a symbol of your commitment. Liss carefully placed the ring on Marcus's finger. Her hands were shaking slightly, the first time Marcus had ever seen her lose her composure. Rodriguez smiled. By the authority vested in me by Earth's diplomatic service and witnessed by those gathered here and watching across the stars, I declare you partners in marriage. Your union represents hope for both your peoples and for all who believe different worlds can build something beautiful together. She paused, then added with a slight grin. You may now seal this union with whatever gesture feels appropriate. Marcus and Liss looked at each other uncertainly. Human tradition called for a kiss, but Valari customs were different. They had never discussed this moment. Liss solved the dilemma by placing her hand over Marcus's heart, a Valari gesture of deep respect and emotional connection. Marcus mirrored the gesture, placing his hand over where he guessed her heart would be. They stood like that for a moment, connected by touch and commitment. The gathered witnesses erupted in applause, humans clapping, Valari humming in their musical way of celebrating, other species expressing joy in their own fashions. For a brief moment, the threat outside ceased to matter. In this room, hope had won. The celebration was short-lived. Rodriguez's communicator chirped urgently. She stepped aside to take the call, her expression growing serious. When she returned, she addressed Marcus and Liss quietly. The Kazroth are withdrawing. They're receiving massive public backlash from multiple species networks. Apparently, threatening a wedding broadcast across dozens of systems wasn't their best political move. They've issued a statement calling this a temporary retreat, but promising they'll be watching. Marcus felt relief wash through him. So we're safe. For now, Rodriguez confirmed. Earth and Valari fleets will arrive in 3 hours to secure the station. The immediate crisis is over. Liss's skin shifted to relieved blue mixed with lingering gold. We succeeded. The alliance holds. More than that, Rodriguez said, gesturing to the communications display. Your ceremony has been viewed by millions across multiple systems. You've become a symbol. People are calling this the wedding that united the galaxy. Over the following weeks, Marcus and Liss's lives transformed completely. The wedding footage spread across every major network, inspiring similar cross-species partnerships and diplomatic initiatives. They became unexpected celebrities, which neither of them particularly enjoyed. More importantly, they began building an actual life together. The alliance was ratified officially, with Marcus and Liss serving as primary liaison officers. They were assigned shared quarters on Earth, which required significant modifications to accommodate Valari physiology. Marcus brought Liss to Earth for the first time 3 weeks after the wedding. She stood at the window of their transport as they descended through the atmosphere, her skin cycling through colors Marcus was learning to interpret, awe mixed with nervousness and excitement. "It's so blue," she whispered, staring at the oceans below. "And the clouds move so quickly. Everything is dynamic, changing constantly." "Welcome home," Marcus said softly. Liss turned to him, her golden eyes bright. "Home. Yes, that is what this will be." They landed near Marcus's hometown, a small coastal city. His parents waited at the landing pad, looking nervous. Marcus's mother, Elena, clutched her husband's arm tightly. Marcus's father, Robert, stood stiffly, clearly unsure how to greet an alien daughter-in-law. "Mom, Dad," Marcus said as he and Liss approached. "This is Lissara, my wife." Elena stepped forward hesitantly, then surprised everyone by pulling Liz into a gentle hug. "Welcome to our family, dear. I hope Marcus hasn't been too difficult." Liz's skin showed warm, pink surprise. She awkwardly returned the embrace, having studied human hugging customs but never experienced one. "He has been exceptionally patient with me. I am still learning many things." Robert extended his hand formally. Liz shook it carefully, having practiced the human greeting extensively. "We're glad to have you, Lysara. Any questions about Earth customs or our family, you just ask. We'll help however we can." Over dinner that evening, Liz asked countless questions about Marcus's childhood, human food customs, and Earth's history. She tried various dishes, her skin color shifting with each new taste. Some pleasant, some decidedly not. When she accidentally bit into a chili pepper, her skin flashed bright red in alarm, making Marcus's parents laugh warmly. "I like her," Elena whispered to Marcus while Liz helped Robert clear the dishes, carefully studying how humans performed this domestic ritual. "She's genuine. That matters more than species." As the months passed, Marcus and Liz fell into comfortable routines. They worked together during the day, coordinating the growing exchange programs between Earth and Valari. In the evenings, they shared their worlds with each other. Marcus teaching Liz about human music and literature. Liz teaching Marcus Valari meditation techniques and history. They learned each other's boundaries and preferences. Liz needed several hours alone each day to process her emotions through meditation. Marcus needed morning coffee and silence before becoming truly functional. They discovered shared interests in astronomy and old mystery novels. They argued occasionally about diplomatic approaches, but always talked through disagreements with respect. Physical intimacy developed slowly at Valari pace. Liz explained that her people experienced touch differently, that trust had to build gradually. Marcus learned patience, discovered that intimacy could mean sitting in comfortable silence together, or Liz resting her hand on his shoulder while they read. 6 months into their marriage, they sat together on the balcony of their quarters, watching Earth's sunset. Liz's skin glowed with soft gold and gentle pink. "I need to tell you something," Liz said quietly. "In Valari culture, these colors mean something specific. Gold is respect and admiration. Pink is affection. Deep affection." Marcus looked at her, his heart suddenly beating faster. "What are you saying, Liz?" "I am saying that what began as partnership has become more. I think about you constantly. I miss you when we are apart. I find joy in small moments we share. I believe this is what humans call falling in love, though for my people it happens slowly, gradually, like dawn instead of lightning." She turned her golden eyes to him. "I love you, Marcus Chen. Not because duty requires it, but because you have become the person I choose above all others." Marcus felt warmth spread through his chest. He took her hand gently. "I love you too, Liz. I think I have for a while now. I was just waiting to see if it was real or just proximity and circumstance." "And is it real?" Liz asked softly. "The most real thing I've ever felt," Marcus confirmed. They sat together as Earth's sun painted the sky in colors that almost matched the joy glowing on Liz's skin. Two people from different worlds who had started as strangers with a political arrangement, now genuinely partners in every sense. But their peaceful moment was interrupted by an urgent message from Earth Command. Marcus read it, his expression growing serious. "What is it?" Liz asked, her skin shifting to concerned blue. "The Kazroth weren't acting alone," Marcus said quietly. "Intelligence has discovered they were testing our alliance on behalf of something else, something much bigger." He looked at his wife, seeing both the person he loved and the partner he trusted. "Liz, I think our real work is just beginning." Liz stood, her posture straightening with determination. Her skin settled into resolute violet. Then we face it together, as we have faced everything else, as partners, as husband and wife. Marcus stood beside her, taking her hand. Whatever threat was coming, they would meet it the same way they had met every challenge, together, with courage and hope. The bridge between two worlds was stronger than either had imagined. And it would need to be. The emergency briefing room deep within Earth Command headquarters was filled with representatives from 17 different species. Holographic displays showed star maps with vast empty regions marked in ominous red. Marcus and Liz stood near the central console, their position as the first successful interspecies diplomatic couple giving them unique authority in this unprecedented gathering. Admiral Harrison of Earth Fleet activated the main display. 3 months ago, we detected unusual signal patterns from beyond charted space. Initially, we thought they were natural phenomena. We were wrong. The display shifted to show massive ships, hundreds of them, all identical geometric shapes that seemed designed by mathematical precision rather than organic creativity. They moved in perfect formation through the darkness between star systems. We call them the Harvesters, Harrison continued grimly. According to intelligence gathered from species who encountered them centuries ago and fled, they are artificial intelligences that view biological civilizations as competitors for resources. They systematically eliminate organic life and convert entire planets into processing facilities. A Valari scientist stood, her skin showing fearful white. How long until they reach our territories? 4 years at their current speed, Harrison replied. Maybe 5. They're thorough. They clear every system they pass through completely before moving to the next. The room erupted in anxious conversation across multiple languages. Marcus felt Liz's hand find his under the table, her skin radiating tension. He squeezed gently, offering silent support. An insectoid representative from the Cheetic Collective clicked its mandibles sharply. Our combined fleets cannot match their numbers. We have seen the projections. This is extinction. Not if we change how we think about survival, Marcus said, standing. The room gradually quieted. For millions of years, species have faced extinction threats the same way. Gather forces, fight, win or die. But humanity has a different history. We've survived by adapting, by being unpredictable, by refusing to fight on our enemy's terms. A reptilian delegate hissed skeptically. You suggest we run and hide? That is cowardice, not strategy. I suggest we become impossible to harvest, Liz said, rising to stand beside Marcus. Her skin showed determined violet. The harvesters are machines. They think in patterns, in efficiency, in predictable behaviors. What if we become unpredictable? Marcus pulled up a new display showing dozens of mobile station designs. We don't defend fixed worlds. We create mobile civilizations, city ships, agricultural vessels, portable industrial complexes. We scatter across space in small, constantly moving groups. The harvesters can't efficiently harvest what they can't pin down. We become like water, Liz added, flowing around obstacles rather than crashing against them. When they arrive in a system, they find nothing worth the resources to pursue. We live in the spaces between, always moving, always adapting. Harrison looked thoughtful. A nomadic civilization spanning multiple species, it's never been attempted at this scale. Because we've never had to, Marcus replied. And we've never had this many species willing to work together. The Kasroth tested our alliance to see if it would break under pressure. Instead, we proved it could hold. Now we use that strength. Over the following weeks, Marcus and Liz embarked on the most important diplomatic mission of their lives. They traveled to dozens of worlds, speaking before councils and assemblies, using their personal story as evidence that cooperation across vast differences was possible. On a water world inhabited by aquatic beings, Marcus and Lys stood on a floating platform addressing the planetary leadership. Our marriage began as political necessity, Marcus told them, but it became real through choice, through effort, through believing in something larger than ourselves. That's what we're asking of all our peoples now. Choose to believe in a shared future. A crystalline intelligence on a high-gravity planet challenged them. Your love story is inspiring but irrelevant to military strategy. How does sentiment defeat machines? Lys's skin rippled with patient blue. It is not sentiment that defeats them. It is the adaptability that comes from diverse thinking. Marcus thinks in ways I never would. I solve problems he cannot see. Together, we are stronger than our individual capabilities. Now multiply that strength across 17 species, each contributing unique perspectives and abilities. Slowly, the coalition grew. Not every species joined. Some chose to fortify their worlds and fight conventionally. But enough agreed to the mobile civilization strategy that real planning could begin. Marcus and Lys coordinated the enormous logistics of designing and building city ships, establishing resource-sharing protocols, and creating communication networks that could span light years. They worked 16-hour days, rarely sleeping, driven by the knowledge that millions of lives depended on their success. Late one night in their temporary quarters on a construction station, Lys collapsed onto their shared sleeping platform, her skin dim with exhaustion. Marcus sat beside her, equally tired. "Do you think we can actually do this?" Lys asked quietly. "Save everyone?" "Not everyone," Marcus admitted honestly. "Some will refuse to leave their homeworlds. Some won't make it to the ships in time, but we'll save as many as possible. That has to be enough." Lys turned to face him, her golden eyes reflecting starlight from the window. "I asked you to marry me so I could belong to your world. But we have built something different, have we not? This is not your world or mine anymore." Marcus smiled tiredly. "It's our world, all of us together." "Yes," Lys said softly, her skin glowing with warm amber despite her fatigue. "Our world. I like that very much." 3 years of frantic preparation followed. Massive city ships launched from hundreds of worlds, some as large as small moons, others sleek and fast for scouting. Agricultural vessels carried genetic samples and hydroponic gardens. Industrial ships contained manufactories and resource processors, all designed to function independently or in coordinated groups, to scatter and reform as needed. Marcus and Lys stood at the center of it all, their quarters now aboard Harmony's Hope, the flagship of the Mobile Coalition. It was named after the station where they had married under threat, a reminder that hope could survive even the darkest circumstances. When the harvesters finally arrived at the edge of Coalition space, they found something unprecedented. The worlds they expected to harvest were either evacuated or defended by species choosing to fight conventionally. But the majority of biological civilization had simply vanished into the vastness of space. The harvesters adapted, sending scout units to pursue the mobile cities. But the coalition had planned for this. When scouts appeared, city ships scattered in different directions. The harvesters could not pursue all targets simultaneously without dividing their forces inefficiently. Guerrilla tactics followed. Small strike forces hit harvester supply lines. Coalition ships led pursuing enemies through asteroid fields and stellar anomalies. Human creativity combined with Valari strategic patience, Kaitic technological innovation, and contributions from dozens of other species created a style of resistance the harvesters' programming couldn't efficiently counter. The war, if it could be called that, lasted 5 years. Not a traditional war of battles and conquered territory, but a game of movement and survival. The harvesters gradually concluded that biological civilization in this region consumed more resources to harvest than it provided. They moved on to seek easier prey in other galactic sectors. Victory came not with a final battle but with absence, years passing without harvester activity. The threat had been managed, not destroyed, but survived through adaptation. 10 years after their wedding, Marcus and Liz stood together on the observation deck of Harmony's Hope, now the permanent capital of what had become known as the Nomadic Coalition. Hundreds of city ships orbited a beautiful blue star, gathered for a decade anniversary celebration. Marcus's hair showed touches of gray now. Liz's skin patterns had deepened, showing the maturity that came with age among her people. They had changed, grown, evolved together through years of struggle and triumph. "Do you regret it?" Marcus asked, watching the ships outside. "Leaving your homeworld behind?" Liz was quiet for a long moment. Her home planet still existed, but it was colder now, its sun continuing its slow death. Most Valari lived aboard city ships, visiting their original world only occasionally. "I told you once that I wanted to belong to your world," Liz said finally, "but we built something better than either of us imagined. Not human civilization or Valari civilization, but something new, something that includes everyone who chooses to belong." She placed her hand over his heart in the gesture they had shared at their wedding. Her skin glowed with deep gold and brilliant pink, respect, admiration, and profound love. "This is our world now, Marcus Chen, not defined by a single planet or species, but by shared purpose and mutual care. We belong to each other, to our extended family across 17 species, to everyone who chose hope over isolation." Marcus covered her hand with his own, feeling the familiar warmth of her touch. "You asked me to marry you to save your people, but you saved mine too. You saved all of us by being brave enough to ask that impossible question." Around them, celebration lights began illuminating the city ships. Music drifted through the station, a blend of instruments from multiple worlds, a harmony that shouldn't work but somehow did. Young couples of mixed species walked past, hand in hand or appendage in appendage, their existence made possible by the bridge Marcus and Liz had built. Children of various species played together, learning each other's languages and customs naturally. "We should join the celebration," Liz suggested. "It is customary for the original couple to begin the anniversary dance." Marcus laughed. "You know I'm terrible at Valari dancing." "And I still step on your feet during human waltzes," Liz replied, her skin rippling with amused colors. "But we manage together, as we always do." They walked hand in hand toward the celebration, two people from different worlds who had chosen each other and, in doing so, had helped create a civilization based not on territory or biology, but on the simple, powerful choice to belong to something larger than themselves. Behind them, through the massive windows, countless ships of the Nomadic Coalition drifted in peaceful formation, a testament to what beings could accomplish when they chose unity over division, adaptation over rigidity, and hope over fear. The question Liz had asked in fear and desperation years ago, "Will you marry me, human?" had been answered not just with words, but with a decade of shared life and the creation of a new kind of civilization. Marcus had frozen when she first asked. Now he couldn't imagine any other answer but yes. Their world, built together, sustained by millions, and proven resilient against impossible odds, continued its journey through the stars. The end retry.